Welcome to our tours of Magic Halifax. This is a brief taster to whet your appetite, to encourage you to join the tours by walking or by vintage bus.
Halifax Town Hall, opened on the 4th of August 1863 by His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales, future Edward VII. Foundation stone was laid on the 2nd of April 1861, so it took 2 years and 4 months to build. Designed by Sir Charles Barry, who also designed the Houses of Parliament, he died whilst the town hall was being built, and his son Edward Middleton Barry completed the building.
The Union Cross Hotel. This is the oldest public house in Halifax and dates back almost 500 years. The office of the Halifax Building Society was once here. Cockfighting took place, firstly outside, and then when it was banned it moved indoors. Daniel Defoe and John Wesley stayed here. The Marlborough Hall. Opened in 1857, designed by Lockwood and Mason, who also designed Bradford Town Hall and Saltaire Institute. Emmeline Pankhurst spoke here on the 31st of March 1911. It was home of one of the early cinemas in Halifax called the Gem Theatre, and Lulu performed here in the 1960s.
Prince's Buildings is a 19th century Grade II listed building, formerly a large banking hall. It recently underwent a £6.2 million restoration and alteration, and the council officers relocated from Northgate House to this building.
Upwards towards the Upper George pub. Underneath a warehouse in the yard of the pub was the Plebeians Jazz Club from 1961 to 1968. Rod Stewart and many other famous people performed here.
The oldest brick building in Halifax is a 1730s building, owned by Valentine Stead, who was the brother-in-law of John Cagill, the richest man in Halifax at the time, who gave the land for the Peace Hall to be built in 1779.
Onwards to Lloyd's Bank. This was formerly the Rawson Bank. You will all have heard of Christopher Rawson, who was the banker that Anne Lister had dealings with in the Gentleman Jack series. Somerset House, built in 1766 for John Royds. The architect was John Carr from York. The Grand Salon is decorated with fine Rococo plasterwork by Giuseppe Cortesi and features the figures of Neptune and Britannia, amongst others, these depicting the faces of the family of John Royds. It was reputed to have taken 10 years and £2,000 to complete.
Down the road is the Oak Cock Inn, built in the 1580s by William Saville as a townhouse. It has been an inn since 1688. In 1853, members of the Loyal Georgian Society met here, which ultimately led to the formation of Halifax Permanent Building Society. It was here in 1769 that David Hartley, King David, leader of the Cragvale Coiners, was arrested. Halifax Borough Market was opened on the 25th of July 1896 by the Duke and Duchess of York, later King George V and Queen Mary. The earlier market was demolished in 1891. It was designed by Lehman and Lehman, a Halifax firm, which also designed Leeds Market, and the cost was £110,000. Separate tours take place of Streets in the Sky, which was the streets where shopkeepers and the caretakers lived above the market. The Peace Hall is a Grade I listed building, opened in 1779. This replaced the original Cloth Hall of 1572. The land for the Peace Hall was given by John Cagill. Merchants could only sell cloth on Saturday mornings between 10 a.m. and 12 noon. The Peace Hall has recently undergone a £19.2 million restoration and development, which now incorporates the Grade II listed Square Spire.
The Square Spire denotes the development with Square Chapel. Square Chapel was built in 1772. The Crossley family worshipped there, and in 1856 the family gave money to build Square Church. The spire is the only thing that remains, because Square Chapel was no longer big enough. The chapel became the Sunday school. When Colonel Aykroyd commissioned the building of All Souls Church, Haley Hill, he asked for the spire to be a foot higher than Square Church, so that he could see All Souls from his mansion of Bankfield before he looked at Square Church. Such was the competition between these two great philanthropists and industrialists.
Back up into the town at the old town hall, which is currently Randolph Bottomley Opticians. This was the site of Halifax Town Hall until the current building opened in 1863. Used as the town hall from 1849, shortly after the election of the first town council of Halifax. Like the current town hall, it housed the police station and prison cells.
The Burton's building, which houses McDonald's underneath. It's a 1930s Art Deco building. Notice the 18 elephants which adorn the upper floors. It was the start of the ready-made suit era by Montague Burton of Leeds. In the 50s and 60s, the first floor used to be Pearl Palin's dance studio. And finally, on to the Duke of Wellington's memorial statue at the top of Woolshops. This was unveiled in May 2019 by the current Duke of Wellington. The memorial encapsulates many of the battles and wars which the regiment served through, in addition to other aspects of army life. The Duke of Wellington's Regimental Association fundraised to pay for the statue. It was produced by world-renowned sculptor Andrew Sinclair, who was at the unveiling ceremony. Look out for more Halifax elephants.